There's a question I keep getting from peers. What's it actually like working with an AI on your shoulder for a full week? Honest answer, mostly fast, twice this week, confidently wrong. Here's the candid version of week 3. Quick note before we get into it. If you find these useful, hitting like and subscribe is what helps them reach others doing the same work. And comments, disagreement especially, push the thinking forward. I read them all. 5 days, about 6 hours a day at the keyboard. 20+ distinct artifacts shipped, design docs, automation scripts, a slide deck, a narrated MP4, internal handover notes. The headline operational metric. Host access went from 1 to 12. Total LLM spend all in about $180. That's roughly $6 per hour of my engaged time. Compared to my consulting rate, a rounding error. Compared to what I can take on in a week, the cheapest tool in the kit. I work inside a terminal agent that has file system access, shell access, and HTTP. It reads my repo, edits files, runs scripts, hits internal APIs, produces binary artifacts. The shape is conversational pair programming with an unusually capable junior who can also do tedious operational work autonomously. The split looks something like this. Architecture decisions, judgment, prioritization, 80% me. Producing structured documents and slide decks, 80% it. Orchestrating multi-step shell pipelines and debugging its own failures, 90% it. What you can't see from that split is the iteration density. A single task in the conversation might be 30 turns. The fast back and forth is the actual value, not any one output. A 1500-line technical design, iterated from version 1 to 1.6, with 4 diagrams and 6 appendices. A provisioning playbook for legacy hosts. 3 idempotent provisioning scripts. An 18-document markdown pipeline that also caught a subtle aspect ratio bug across 49 diagrams. The weekly stakeholder update in 3 formats. Written brief, narrated slide deck, 1080p MP4. A watcher pipeline rebuilt off personal infrastructure. 21 hours of human attention produced what would normally be 60 to 80 hours of work. The amplification is 3 to 4 times the volume. The qualitative effect is closer to I can keep 5 workstreams hot at once than I produce slightly more code. 2 confidently stated wrong conclusions this week, both about the same question. Worth narrating in full. Wednesday, the AI wrote me a probe script to check whether we had access to a set of legacy servers. The probe came back with a confident yes. 6 of 9 hosts open. It was wrong. The probe had misread the server's response. It saw something that looked like the prompt it was looking for but wasn't. We hadn't actually got in. But I didn't catch it. The result went into the design doc. The design doc went into the weekly update for senior stakeholders. Thursday, I reran the probe more carefully. This time it came back with a completely different answer. The hosts denied access altogether. New conclusion. The accounts don't exist on those servers. We need a separate access request. That conclusion went into a corrected design doc. I corrected the weekly update with a confident retraction of Wednesday's finding. Both conclusions were wrong. The probe was using a connection style those particular servers don't accept. The denials weren't no account. They were wrong handshake. Neither the AI nor I knew that until we'd burnt 2 days. Friday afternoon. I gave up on the probe and just connected by hand using the simplest possible settings. It worked first time. The accounts existed. The servers were fine. By 5 p.m., 6 of 9 hosts were set up and verified working from automation. The AI is fast and frequently right. When wrong, it is wrong in a confidently stated, internally coherent way. That is the most dangerous kind of wrong to read in a document. Both wrong conclusions this week came with reasoned explanations and code that proved them. Both fit the narrative I was already building. Both were false. The fix is not use AI less. The fix is this. Treat every AI-supplied diagnostic as a hypothesis. Require 1 empirical confirmation per consequential claim before it lands in a stakeholder document. Write yesterday's retraction as carefully as you wrote yesterday's conclusion. I now have a doc revision pattern. Version 1.0 said X, that was a false positive. Version 1.1 retracted to Y, also false. Version 1.3 is the actual state. It looks bad in a doc version history sense. The alternative, silently overwriting yesterday's wrong conclusion, is worse. 3 things stood out where the AI did work I genuinely would not have done myself. 1. The narrated MP4 of the weekly update. I'm not a video editor. I would have written the slides, told the audience to read them and moved on. Instead, I have a 3-minute MP4 with TTS narration synchronized to slide visuals that an executive can play in the background while making coffee. 2. the discovery of half a dozen ready-built infrastructure modules in the client's internal repo that materially simplify our migration plan. The AI surveyed multiple sources in parallel and produced a single, what this module replaces in our hand-rolled design table. The discovery shifted the architecture. 3. Cross-source verification of an access claim. Someone said in passing, we can connect to those hosts. Before rerunning the probe, the AI searched 4 corporate knowledge sources and produced a synthesized answer with citations and contact names. 30 minutes of work in 90 seconds. 6 rules I actually follow. 1. Drive in concrete English. Vague prompts give vague output. 2. Treat every AI claim as a hypothesis until empirically confirmed. 3. Write prompts to be self-correcting. First check whether X is done. If it is, skip. If it isn't, do it and persist the result so we can resume. 4. Commit early and often. When the AI loses track mid-conversation, which happens, Git history is the source of truth. 5. Keep version banners in your docs so retractions are visible. 6. Keep a local handover doc the AI maintains for you, read at the start of every session. If you're senior, AI is a force multiplier, not a substitute. Judgment is still yours. Architecture is still yours. Accountability is still yours. What changes is how much of your week you spend producing first drafts versus reviewing and steering. I spend half as much time writing, twice as much time deciding. If you're junior, AI is dangerous if you can't tell when it's wrong. Both wrong answers this week came with confident, internally coherent explanations. An engineer with less context would have shipped both, not noticed the contradiction, and built on a false foundation. The AI doesn't flag uncertainty proportional to actual uncertainty. That calibration is the human's job. The steady state for senior consulting work is going to be more output, more breadth, similar quality at the artifact level, but markedly different fault profiles. The errors AI-assisted work introduces are not typos or missed edge cases. They are fabricated coherent narratives that fit the surrounding evidence, but are subtly wrong. Catching those is the new skill. That was week 3. Subscribe if useful, comments if you disagree.